Christian Cage and Adam Copeland are two of the biggest free agent signings in AEW history, and they have the potential to tell one of the coolest stories in all of professional wrestling history if they do indeed reunite as a tag team for one final run. These are two guys whose legacies are going to be tied together for their entire lives. These are two guys who came up together in Toronto as wrestlers, as friends, and who in many ways grew up as brothers. That storyline that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, or Edge and Christian, were brothers was not just a story, it was not just kayfabe, it was pretty much the truth. They have been there for each other since day one. And that is what is going to make their eventual reunion in All Elite Wrestling mean even more. And think about the way they have set this up. Adam Copeland, when he came into AEW at WrestleDream 2023, came into a segment where Christian Cage was about to beat down, victimize, and concerto Sting. He saves Sting, but in the process, he puts himself on the wrong side of Christian Cage by attacking Nick Wayne and Killswitch. And by doing this, Adam Copeland to Christian Cage is seen as an enemy, someone who turned his back on Christian Cage. And meanwhile, Christian Cage is one of the biggest heels in all of wrestling right now. He is calling out people's fathers. He is saying things that you don't really need to hear in promos, you could say, but you are hearing it, and it's making him even more hated by the fans. And he has his heaters in Killswitch and Nick Wayne, and throughout this entire time, he has been selfish and he has been arrogant. And over time, that arrogance has blinded him to the fact that Christian Cage is wide open for attack by the two people standing right next to him. Adam Copeland said this in a promo when he first debuted in AEW in October of 2023. He warned Christian that when the chips are down, when he's lost it all, when there's nothing more for him to give to Killswitch and Nick Wayne, Christian Cage at that moment will be disposable. And at that moment, those two will turn on him. But regardless, through it all, Adam Copeland will still be there to pick him up, because that's what friends do, but more importantly, that's what brothers do. You fight, but you get back together, you pick each other up, and you move forward. And that's the story that they can tell here, because it's very obvious the animosity between these two reached a boiling point. They had multiple no disqualification matches. They ended it in an I Quit match in Toronto that was one of the best television matches of the entire year. And you could argue that that was a great point to leave it off, because it allowed Adam Copeland to go do something else and Christian Cage to go after the trios titles, which I think will open up the door for this eventual turn on Christian Cage by Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. And when that moment happens, you can bet it all that Adam Copeland, aka Edge, will be right there for Christian, just like he's been there his entire career. And the stories that they could tell coming off of that, and the money that they could make. Think about the marketing that you could do around this. You could market the final run of Edge and Christian as a tag team. You could market this as a big time year-long run that Adam Copeland is going to retire in October of 2025. And at that point, he will want to go out as the AEW World Tag Team Champion with his brother, Christian Cage. And through that, you could tell so many cool stories. There's the potential for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus the Young Bucks. The potential for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. The potential for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR. And even still, the potential for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage for the final time versus the Hardys. As of right now, the Hardys have not signed with WWE. It does not seem like they are signing imminently. So that leaves the door open, as they currently have free agent contracts with TNA, for them to make an appearance in AEW, do a program, and give the people Adam Copeland, Christian Cage versus the Hardys for the final time. A match that defined an entire era of tag team wrestling, a match that revolutionized tag team wrestling, a match that would go down as the best way to close out both of their tag teams' careers. I genuinely believe that if AEW and Tony Khan have the ability to pull the trigger on this, they should do it as soon as possible. Because one thing we have seen with Copeland's injury is that tomorrow is not guaranteed. We don't know how much longer these individuals are going to be able to have these matches. We don't know how much longer they're going to be healthy. Professional wrestling is a sport where anything can happen any single day, and that's why you want to capitalize on the momentum sooner rather than later. And if you think about the business opportunity, it's all there. You could leverage this run in order to boost ticket sales. You could leverage this run in order to boost merch sales. It's really necessary for AEW right now. And with a stadium show in Dallas coming up, with a potential stadium show in London coming up, with a stadium show in Japan coming up next year, there's a lot of stuff that AEW needs to be able to say that they have in order to entice fans to come out for those shows, in order to entice fans to spend money on those shows. And one thing that could help them do that would be Adam Copeland, Christian Cage as a tag team, which is something we didn't get during Adam Copeland's brief return to WWE a couple of years ago. The most we really got was that one spot in the 2021 Royal Rumble where they hugged each other in an emotional embrace that all of the fans loved, but shortly thereafter, Christian Cage went to All Elite Wrestling, and we just did not get that tag team run in WWE that many people were speculating that we could have gotten coming out of that Rumble. For these guys, and after everything they've been through, to finally be in a place where they can end their careers, and like Adam Copeland said when he first debuted in AEW, one of the reasons he came into All Elite Wrestling was because his daughter told him that he should go be with Uncle Jay, that he should go have fun. And the look on Copeland's face ever since he joined AEW has been one of exuberance, enthusiasm, excitement, and I think that look would be even more excited. And I think the excitement on his face right now would pale in comparison to that if he was able to reunite with his longtime tag team partner for one final run. And one thing that I know for sure, the fans would absolutely love it too, but I guess we'll see.